Hey friends, it's me, Father Jonathan. I have an invitation/project/mission impossible for you in just a minute. Before I explain kind of why we're thinking and what I'm thinking, I want to tell you that for this project, you will need a few things. You will need a sheet of paper like this one, just regular, ordinary computer paper. You will need a pencil or crayon. You will need some scissors. You will need some tape. And you will need a popsicle stick. It doesn't have to be a popsicle stick, but if this is an excuse for you to eat a popsicle, take it. Otherwise, any kind of, you could use a pencil, or you could use even like a toilet paper roll. If your toilet paper roll is like most people's toilet paper rolls right now and doesn't have any toilet paper on it. So that's what you'll need. Paper, pencil, maybe some crayons too, some other colors if you have them, tape, popsicle stick, scissors, that's all. All right, so what you're gonna do on your sheet of paper is trace your hand. And what I want you to do, at least to start, is don't round the fingers, just leave them open, because you'll have some choices in a second. After we do this part, I'll explain exactly what we're doing, and then you can make your choice about what you wanna do with the fingertips at the end. All right, so you got it? You got something like this then. All right, so what we're doing, what I'm imagining is, so when we gather as God's people, as church in this time where we're all social distancing, we have to be creative, right? We can't share the bread and the wine like we are used to. We can't do other things also. And now we've got Holy Week coming up on us. And so the question is, what do we do about palms? What do we do when you can't get everybody together to hand them out, when it might not be safe to get everybody's hands on this thing as you hand them all out? It'd be like a real event to have to orchestrate it. But then a friend of mine shared this quote from me from a Catholic priest, Father Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. And this is what he wrote that got me thinking that maybe we can still do something that would be like the same but maybe different. He said, "Since I have neither bread nor wine, nor altar, I will raise myself beyond these symbols, and I will make the whole earth my altar, and on it I will offer you all the labors and suffering of the world." So since he can't get to his church to be at the altar, he's going to say the whole earth is my altar, and I'm still going to find ways to pray. And then I got to thinking about Palm Sunday and how it's kind of like a pun. There's a pun that's built into Palm Sunday, because we start the services with these palms, and then by the end of the service, Jesus has had his hands crucified. And you remember, if you at Holy Trinity during the season of Lent for our sequence hymn, we've been using the song "Jesus Remember Me," but we've been using adult sign language, or not adult sign language, American Sign Language. And the sign for Jesus is this. So you touch the palms of your hands with your fingers, and we would sing, "Jesus, remember me." So this is the symbol for Jesus. So the palm has like at least two meanings. So I've got that thinking, and that's where our hands come in, because maybe if we can't wave our palm branches, we can still wave our palms as a kind of offering of ourselves. And then as soon as that thought hit me, I remembered this reading from Andrew of Crete, who was a bishop of Jerusalem in the 700s. And this is what he wrote. "So let us spread before his feet, not garments of soulless olive branches," not garments or soulless olive branches, because people would either throw their coats and jackets, or they would throw olive branches in front of a king who was coming into town in a majestic procession of a parade. Let us spread before his feet not garments or soulless olive branches, which delight the eye for a few hours and then wither, but ourselves clothed in his grace, or rather clothed completely in him. We who have been baptized into Christ must ourselves become the garments that we spread before him. Now that the crimson stains of our sins have been washed away in the saving waters of baptism, and we have become like pure wool, let us present the conqueror of death not with mere branches of palms, but with the real rewards of his victory. Let our souls take the place of the welcoming branches, as we join today in the children's holy song, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the King of Israel." All right, so the palms are a pun. It's the waving of these branches. It's also the reminder that this day is about Jesus' great love for us, And so the invitation is to put down not just branches, but to put down our lives. And that got me thinking about tracing our hand. So if you've got your hand, you can go back and make it a little darker if you want. Still leave those fingers open. I'm just gonna kind of like simplify it and take all the the little knuckle bumps out and just make it where it's a little streamlined. So there. And now you can decorate it. What I did, I made this one a little earlier. You can see it. And this is where the choice about the knuckle place comes up. If you want, you can extend your fingers right there at that place where we stopped so that it looks more like palms. Or if you want, you can just like round it off and make your hand and cut it out. Either way, you can pause this, come back when you're to that point, or you can just listen to the whole thing and then finish it in a second. It's not that hard, but you're gonna cut out your hand either with long extended fingers or just as your fingers are. All right, so that's step one. This is the example I did. And in step two, I want you to think of a verse that tells you something about God's love. If you're like me, you might need to go do some research. I don't have everything memorized, so I did some research and I came up with some options of verses that remind me about God's love. So there's John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son to the end that all who believe in him should not perish but have everlasting life. That would be a really great verse you could put on there. Another one, if you wanted to look it up, is John 4:16. You could look at Romans chapter 5 or chapter 8 has some great verses about God's love. Galatians chapter 2, Psalm 136, Ephesians chapter 2. Then you have, of course, right before he died and left his friends, Jesus said that greater love has no one than this, that they lay down their life for his friends, just like Jesus laid down his life, and we're thinking about laying our lives down too. I decided to go with a reading from 1 John, from the short letter, and I didn't even use the whole verse, I just took a few words from a verse, and I wrote, we know and rely on the love God has for us. We know and rely on the love God has for us. So that's step number two. Once you have your palms all decorated the way you want it, is to write a verse on the front right here on the palm, something that will center you and kind of keep you reminded of the love you want to share in God, something about it. So mine says, we know and rely on the love God has for us. And then on the back, and this is the last thing, I invite you to put the names of all the peoples and all the churches and all the communities that have helped you understand what it means to do whatever you put on your palm. So we know and rely on the love God has for us. I put a list of all the names of people and communities that have taught me what it is to know and rely, to trust God's love. And this is a reminder that when we wave our palms, and we'll tape this popsicle stick on and see, we'll be able to wave it on Palm Sunday. We'll bless it just like we would on Palm Sunday if we were to gather. But this is a reminder that we lay down our lives not just individually, but we're part of a big procession. We're part of welcoming the King. We're part of a parade even. And we have learned what it is how to move with the parade, how to be a part of the parade from others. Sometimes those have been mentors, sometimes those have been friends, sometimes those have been family members, sometimes those have been strangers who just grew at the same time in the same place with us, and we realized after years or decades or months or weeks that we wouldn't be who we are without them and what God has done together with us. So this is a way of remembering the whole procession, the whole parade, and having that be an offering of thanks and gratitude. So this is the invitation, this is the mission, this is it's just short of an assignment because you don't have to do it for Palm Sunday, but it'd be really cool because we're going to bless all of them at the start of the service on Sunday, and then we'll continue on. And if you're thinking this is just for kids, I don't think it's just for kids. I mean, they started even well before the shortages of everything else. Germany started running out of certain kinds of trees because they were using them all on adult coloring for color pencils. So this is something that hopefully everyone can do. It can be a wonderful way to participate, to enter in as best we can, not just as a kind of since we can't do this, we can do this other, but to consider the spiritual meaning too of what it means to put our lives down before Christ. This can be a wonderful opportunity. And so I can't wait actually to see the poems that you come up with. And I cannot wait to celebrate and start the beginning of Holy Week with you. Blessings, friends. Love you and see you soon. Peace.